Hello, welcome to Paul's Take, and this is my take on us going to Mars. That's right. Elon Musk and NASA and all the SpaceX team are focused, laser-sighted on going to Mars now. We just did our first flight, or SpaceX did their first manned mission to space, to the International Space Station, and it did a great job. No problems. Except it gets a little bumpy on the second rocket. Anyhow, now we're going to Mars. And we're not just going to Mars, check it out, take a look around, and come back like we did with the old missions we did to Mars, not to Mars, to the moon. We are going to go up there and we're going to stay there. They're going to try to inhabit Mars, have a base on Mars, and live there. Send like 100 people up there to live there and stay there maybe forever. And have their own Mars city. They're going to inhabit Mars, like to be like their own, I guess eventually their own city on another planet, have another place besides Earth. In case Earth gets blown up or destroyed or something, we have another location, a summer home, or someplace else. But my question is, why? Why would they want to do it? Why would a person or people want to live on Mars? Now, granted, things on Earth are getting kind of crazy. And maybe you're like, I had enough of Earth. I'm going to go somewhere else. I'll go to Mars. There'll only be a few hundred of us right now. I guess eventually they will plan on having thousands of people on Mars. Have their own system and stuff. Whole city, Mars population. But, I just learned something recently today. Just now, as a matter of fact, while I was doing some research on Mars. It was my understanding that on the hottest day on Mars, it would still be like 80 degrees below zero. But apparently that's not so. I was actually shocked to hear that on the equator, in the summer, you can get as hot as 70 degrees. What? In the daytime. And then at night, it'll drop all the way down to like a negative 100. But that's actually pretty decent. I was shocked that there is a time where you could actually, for the fact you have no air, you could walk around there with a t-shirt on and be comfortable. So it's not as horrible as I thought it would be. I mean, it's going to be, and that's of course on a nice summer day. But in the winter, it's going to be like the highs could be probably, I couldn't find the highs in the winter on Mars, on the equator, to try to find out what would be like the typical day on Mars. All I could find was on the poles when it's really cold, it's going to be like negative 180 degrees or something crazy. But you definitely wouldn't want your base on the poles. You'd want it on the equator, right? That's where they have the most livable Earth-like temperature, even if for a little bit. So, does it make sense? It doesn't really make sense to me to have a city on Mars. Even though there's going to be some decent temperatures, you still can't breathe up there. And of course, they're going to try to, terraform the planet, put a bunch of plants out there. I don't know how you get a bunch of water up there, but try to create in thousands of billions of years, I don't know how long it would take to make Mars livable, where you can actually breathe air and create an atmosphere. But apparently it can be done. It would just take forever. But nonetheless, even though there is going to be some periods of time where you could actually go outside throughout the year, makes you think it wouldn't be a really bad summer vacation spot. You know what I'm talking about? You go there for the summer, you enjoy your 70 degrees, a little time during the day was nice. You can be out and about with no problem. You're not going to freeze your butt off. do some work, do some scientific stuff. But to me, it seems like it would make more sense to focus on having a nice base on the moon, right? Because for one, you can get back and forth from here to the moon in a few days. It wouldn't take you forever. You can supply it back and forth, no problem. And then from the moon, you could launch ships to Mars because you don't have to get through the atmosphere. And that would be the hardest part, getting through the atmosphere, take all this big old, because you need a big ship to get to Mars, right? Because you're going to take 100 people or so. You need a pretty big ship. But taking a big ship from Earth, it's going to be difficult. But if you can like send people on smaller ships to the moon, and then they could build the bigger ship or put together the bigger ship on the moon, and then launch from the moon to Mars or beyond or to Jupiter. She got all those different cool moons around Jupiter. It'd be a lot easier doing it from the moon because there's not very much gravity. There's no atmosphere. You can take off a really big ship from there, no problem. So it makes more sense to have a really kick-butt base on the moon to launch from. But you still can't launch from Mars much easier than here, and we have all the resources here. So it makes more sense to me to have a kick-butt base on the moon. You keep supplying it, that way you can build your stuff, gather all your fuel, have a big old nice mothership that leaves from the moon to all these other places. And even if I know you want to explore Mars, don't get me wrong, you want to explore the place. But to me it makes more sense. Now that you got your base on the moon, and you can have another international space station that orbits Mars. And then from there, you could have these little ships that could drop in. And then from there, that way you have smaller ships to drop in to explore. And then you can go back to your space station around Mars. And that station could be supplied by the station on the moon. You know what I'm saying? It just makes more sense than to try to do a big load from Earth through the atmosphere, taking all that stuff on one ship from the Earth versus taking smaller ships, supplying the moon base to supply that big ship, and then you could do a lot better. You could do a lot bigger ship. It makes more sense to me. Am I making any sense? I think so. Because really, Mars is not the final frontier. It's just our next stop. We shouldn't put all our resources on Mars when I think the better idea would put more resources not on Mars itself, but on a really good ship that could go past Mars. Go to Mars too. Go to Mars, have your little space station, fuel the space station, and then continue on. Continue on all the way throughout the solar system. And to me, it seems like the resources would be less to do that ship than to get stuff. It's one thing to drop stuff on Mars, but I don't think nobody really wants to stay there forever. You know what I'm saying? You do your 3 months tour or something, you stay there for a little bit, then you want to come back. But you really can't come back. It's so hard to get people off of Mars. That's probably the problem. Getting people off of Mars to get them back all the way, especially if it's a big ship. Maybe a smaller ship, it wouldn't be so bad. But a big ship to get off of Mars, to go all the way to Earth, it would be difficult. But if you had a smaller ship, they didn't have to go all the way to Earth. All they had to do was get to the space station around Mars, and then they could have a separate, that other ship that's like this ultimate spaceship that goes from the moon to a space station and beyond. They can pick people up, take them back and forth, no problem. Have a few fleet of those guys, you're good to go. Anyhow, what do you think is the best strategy for our space program? Is it the Mars base? I think we're putting too much resources on that. We haven't done anything yet, but It seems like that's going to take a lot of resources to have a colony on Mars. I say a space station, some jumper ships back and forth from the space station to Mars to do some exploring. Have a nice station on the moon with a nice ship that could go from the moon to the space station and to the outer limits of the solar system. Anyhow, that's my take. That's what I think we should be doing. So you talk to Elon Musk and tell him Paul's take said we should be doing it his way, my way. All right, thanks for watching Paul's Take. That's my take on the future of space and where I think we should go with it. Thanks for watching Paul's Take.